Afternoon, guys. Same process as usual. We've got mics on either side if you can indicate to say you'd like to ask a question. If you can please introduce yourself by name and organisation, and we will set an embargo partway through for this evening. That was
Hello Pep, Fraser from Sky Sports here. Before the international break you were hoping you would have quite a few players coming back from injury. Can you tell us what the situation is with everybody at the moment?
Everybody come back fit, and the players, Fernandinho, Kevin, Vincent, who else? Yeah, everybody is okay.
Obviously, of the international players that went out, one of the performances that really stood out for a lot of people was Raheem Sterling. Gareth Southgate said that he thinks that maybe he could be an England captain one day. How impressed were you by his performances for England?
Well, it's good for the national team, for us as well, of course, but for national team. Good performance, amount of goals and chances he creates. It's good.
Unfortunately, he was also the subject of some racial abuse. Was that particularly upsetting for you to see?
Yeah, of course. But this is a work or a job or whatever. You have to every day, complaining when it's happened, what happened. So we have to be there every single day, and Raheem with his behavior show us the reality of our society.
Back to the Premier League this weekend. Is there any advantage or disadvantage at all for you playing your game a day before Liverpool plays theirs against Tottenham?
It's as always. The last 2 months asking the same, so it's as always. So calendar is what it is. So we cannot control. Sky, BT, Premier League decide when we have to play, we play.
And when you look at how things were this time last year, having come back from an international break, you went on to win the Premier League, obviously, but missed out on the Champions League. Have things changed a lot since then? Have you learned lessons from how things were coming back after another international break?
Well, I would say after international break, we came back good. We took results. So I think that the rhythm for the points for the last season is quite similar. So we have done incredible amount, huge points, but we have a contender last season. We didn't have it, make the same incredible, huge amount of points. So now we are going to play 11 games, sure, definitely 11. And if we deserve to play 12, maybe 14, but maybe 15. But to happen that, you have to deserve it. But we're going to play 11 games, 8 left for the Premier League. So game by game, we'll see what happens.
Just finally from me, we had the news through yesterday that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got the job as Manchester United manager. How impressed have you been by the way he's gone about things there? And do you think Manchester United are now going to be far more of a threat in the next couple of seasons with him there?
Well, United is always incredible opponent. So, of course, congratulations for Solskjaer for what he has done incredible in terms of results, the way they play. So wish him all the best.
Pep, Simon Stone, BBC. Do you think that the problem of racism within European football is getting worse?
I think in Europe, not in football. It's getting worse, yeah.
Is that a concern for you?
Yeah, of course. I'm a human being. Yeah, it's not nice.
There's been talk that players, managers, probably referees, in instances such as the one in Montenegro, should have the power to simply walk off the field. What do you feel about that?
We could do that. So we have football is a strong weapon. In the not nice words to say, is a strong weapon to defend the principles of humanity. So I remember a long time ago the people said you cannot mix football and politician. That is not true. So politician is in everywhere, the human rights is in everywhere. A long time ago in Valencia was hitting, he didn't play because it was a Nazismus flag behind the goal. So, and stop it. So when the club or the players or the organization decide to do it, of course, from my side, we're going to follow them.
Would you do it yourself? We
could do that, yeah. If I'm not alone in the club. I'm part of the club. Of course, I have to be involved in the club, the chairmen and the CEOs, and of course my captain, the team, the players. But we all together decide we can good signal to do that. Why not? So you have to. The situation changing when you do something. If not, it's impossible. The situation is always the same. So that's why when people like him or the other cases, express what they express, is a good for the future for our society to be better.
Pep, on that, is a walk-off or that kind of demonstration, if you like, is that enough? I mean, what would you like the authorities to do to clubs or countries that are found guilty of this?
But the problem is not about the football itself. It's the society. What happened in Europe, and the right side, the extreme right side, is going there. And the message they're going to sending, to win the elections to the votes, we are not safe. So it's not a problem, the football, it's the society itself.
And just back on to the football, it's 3 weeks since you've played a Premier League game. How hard is it now with everything so close and so much at stake to switch back on now into the Premier League focus?
Last 7 months it happened. We played different competitions the last 7 months, so it's not a problem. So it's going to happen. Now we played 2 games in Premier League, and after we come back, Cup, Champions League, come back. So it's where it is. Game by game competition, new one. We know what you have to do. You want to be until the end, fight for the Premier League. So that's all. It's easy.
Hi, Pep. Jonathan Smith from ESPN. Just in terms of the first team, is Benjamin Mendy ready for tomorrow?
Yeah.
And is he 100%, or do you have to manage his fitness at the moment, or his injuries?
Of course, he needs time, yeah. So, but he trained the last 3 days, and the reaction his knees really good.
So you see him playing a big part in the next till the end of the
Hopefully.
season?
Now we have, except Fabian Delph, the other people is fit, and we have 21, 22 players, and that's good. They have to compete each other to take one place in the position.
Hi Pep, Ian Beddow, ISN TV. What do you make of what Scott Parker's been doing at Fulham?
Well, I saw the last 3 games because in this time I had more time to watch games. So Leicester and Chelsea and Liverpool, especially at home. So against tough opponents like Chelsea, Liverpool, they were close. So they tried to play like with Jokanovic in the beginning. And for a few details, they don't win the game, so they don't take points, but they play well. So Mitrovic in the box is so dangerous, and all of them, they have a good quality players. Babel is so fast, still come back for the national team from Dutch. So I don't see the table, so I see how they do, how they have done since Scott Parker is the manager, and they have doing not results, but really well.
When a club changes manager, does that change your thinking on how you approach the game?
Well, when you change the manager, when happened in Huddersfield, and I didn't watch not one single game about what they try to figure out what they want to do, is more difficult. But at the end, they play three games, and of course they play with different systems, or 4-4-2, or 4-1-4-1, or 5 in the back in the last minutes against Liverpool. The setup, change sometimes, but the way they want to play is quite clear.
Set the embargo for 10:30 this evening, please, guys.
Pep, just on Mendy, he's obviously had 2 serious knee injuries, and there's been a lot of disruption, niggles before. Have you got any concern that the player who will return won't be the same as the player who you bought? Are you any concern that he's not going to quite come back the same player?
If he has consistency, 2 months, 3 months, no injured, he'll come back without a problem. But if he come back and after come back again 3 months and come back 2 weeks and come back 3 months, no. But if he's able to, the most important is weeks training and training day by day. And when that's happened, good reaction in the knee, of course, he's going to come back.
And how serious is he being about his fitness and the way he's tackling it and making sure he comes back in the right frame of mind, as fit as he possibly can?
No, I think the physicality is not a big problem. It's more what we want to do, what we're looking for, the spacers, the rhythm, the pace. Sometimes you need time when you are long time without playing. But I don't have doubt that the important is He knew he needed work more in his knee because after that, even he's a strong guy, he needs a little bit more power to sustain the efforts, and now it's getting better, but he needs a little more time.
And as we know, he's a very energetic guy. There's a lot of personality. Do you sense real desperation for him to get back fit, playing? Do you sense a guy who's desperate to get back for you?
No, desperate is not the word. Of course, he want to come back. He's here in Manchester to play football, and if he cannot play, he's a little bit sad. Sad in the terms, I want to play, but physiology, the body, the body needs his time after 2 big injuries, the second one as well, but we are optimistic it's going to help us in the end of this season.
Pep, Joe Jacks from The Guardian. Only United and Chelsea have retained the Premier League title. Can you use this as an incentive for your team?
Well, I didn't tell them, but maybe I'm going to use it.
Does it matter to you then?
No, they know it's 11 years, didn't happen. They know, but we listened that from the beginning, how difficult it is. And we know, we spoke about that. So the last 1 month and a half together, maybe 2. It depends if we go through in the knockout competitions, and now there's no time to regret, no time to complain too much, no time to demand something for the other ones, and put everything we have, every single game, every single minute, and every single competition to try to how far we get.
You've obviously retained titles yourself at Barcelona and Bayern Munich. What's the key to it? What's the secret?
Win every game. Win every game. So
How do you win every game?
Follow the manager. No, I think it's a good sense to think, from my point of view, in that situations, is going out there thinking that if we don't win, we are not going to win the competition. So play with this kind of pressure. So it's not, if you are to handle, no, if we draw here, maybe they are going to draw there, and that is, you don't think about, no, the game against Crystal Palace away, or it's game here. If you, for example, next Saturday you have the semi-final against Brighton. So you win, go final, no, it's out. So it's a final. So Cardiff next Wednesday and tomorrow against Fulham is in that way. So everything can happen down 90 minutes. We saw it against Swansea, but it's just one option, is win the game. That's all. If everybody put and do it, okay, we'll see how far we get it. If we say, it doesn't matter, and nothing happened until it happened. And if it happens, you lose the competition. And maybe we cannot win, but when that's happened, it's because the opponent is better, or Liverpool was incredible good, and we cannot chase him. Oh, it's okay. But if it's still in our hands, so it's in our hands. So if we win all the games, we will be champion. I'm not saying it's going to be easy to do that, but I think, honestly, with this amount of games we have, with these fixtures, maybe we're going to drop points. But that's why it's not think too much. It's Fulham tomorrow, win the game, and that's all.
Pep, David McDonald from the Daily Mirror. With so many games coming up, obviously weekends and midweek, and the mental and physical demands that brings, how important is it to have the likes of De Bruyne and Fernandinho and Vincent back fresh for this final push?
A lot.
Are they going to be key to whether you are successful or not, those guys?
Yeah, a lot. So I know it will not be easy when the team selection, even tomorrow 3 or 4 players don't go to London, we'll have 21, 22, so it's what it is. But of course it's so important because in 3 days we have, Cardiff, and after 3 days the semi-final of the Cup, when always is difficult, and after we start, Champions League, Tottenham, and after we have Sunday Crystal Palace, but I know how difficult it is Al Huspar, and after Wednesday, when Tottenham plays Saturday, we play Sunday, after 3 days, it's what it is. It's perfect. So at the end, it's nice to live that. We spoke about that with the team. So we are privileged to live that situation, to be still in all competitions, in beginning in April, to fight for the titles. It's an incredible experience. So normally I don't know how many teams in Premier League history in that position fighting for the 4 titles. I don't know how many was in that position. So we're in that position. So that's nice. it's good. And I think they are fresh mentally in the legs, and we're going to try it.
How much are you actually looking forward to the next 6 to 8 weeks as a manager with all these games coming up?
Sorry,
How much are you looking forward to the next six weeks?
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward. But I don't, like I said before, I don't think too much in 6 weeks. So I saw fresh here all the games we have in the days we play, because I learning which kind of games they have, but I think one game helps to win another one, and one game to win another one. So always I'm a little bit curious, if we drop points or drop one competition, how we're going to react immediately for the next one in other competitions to keep going there and not disappointed, because that's happened. Like, it's just once in the lifetime in England win the treble with Sir Alex Ferguson United. Nobody won 4, so we cannot demand ourselves to do it. I said, don't put enough pressure to win the 4 titles. Forget about it. It's just Fulham and try to win it. We'll see how far it is. But if we are a bad game or a bad results, and the people say, "Oh, we are already lose the game," how we react that is only curious. It's just in case happen.
If you were to drop points tomorrow, say, and there's a game coming up a few days later, how difficult for you as a manager is it to get the players up and encourage them?
That is what I'm talking about. But right now, I'm thinking we're going to drop points. But it's happened. In 3 days, we have Cardiff. And of course, tomorrow we are not going to win the Premier League, but I think we are not going to lose the Premier League tomorrow. So it depends on the result we're going to do tomorrow. Still not in the Brighton, it happened. In Tottenham, in 2 legs, it's happened, a bad result. But in Premier League, still there are many important games to play.
Hi Pep, Simon from the MEN. Raheem Sterling was captain in a recent game. Do you see him as one of the leaders in the squad, and why?
Captain, when in
David Silva gave him the armband, I think, against Schalke.
Oh, I don't remember. That's good. It's because some players injured, and after that he's already 3 or 4 years here. But it's good. So at the end, he showed most of the times. He's a funny guy. He's so comfortable in the locker room, and I think especially the respect is what he has done on the pitch.
And how important is it, if you're going to win a title, to have as many players like that, leaders in the squad?
Yeah, of course it's important. So the titles must be win for the quality, the personality of the players, not for many reasons, but especially for this one, for the quality. As much take responsibility, especially in the bad moments, not when everything is going well. In the bad moments, that's good. Really good for the club, for the future, for everybody, everyone.
Hi Ben, Sam Lee from Goal. At the start of the season, when Mendy was fit, you tried a lot of different formations and different approaches in games. Since then, it's kind of been more of the same thing. Obviously, that's going well. Particularly this year, you only lost the 1 game and won the rest. With Mendy coming back, and with so many games coming up, and games in Europe as well, different opponents, would you be tempted to change the formations up again and keep things fresh, or is it better to keep the players in the rhythm that they're in at the moment?
Yeah, in this part of the season, I moved the team, but the guys who feels are better normally they have more chance to play. Yeah, so now we will play for the cake, and to prove something, you have to be sure. And of course, they can convince me in the training sessions, and they're going to play, and Mendy is going to play minutes, and after they're going to show me how that's physical condition. It's not just come back for I'm fit. There's many situations, the build-ups, how they defend, how they jump, how they stay, how they defend the set pieces. And the players who are not long time not playing, they are not involved. They have to to fix it and review it in training, and we don't have time because we have game every 2-3 days. Yesterday was the first time we training all together. So have time, and after that recovery, you have immediately Cardiff. So, but it depends. At the end, the players show me. I have 2 eyes, more eyes from Mikel, from Brodo, from Loren, from Brian Key, to have many eyes to see And we talk each other quite often and said, oh, we saw that player. And after they had to convince us in what happened in training session the minutes they play on the pitch. That's the reality.
In terms of convincing you, recently in a few games, like when Sane and Mahrez have started, they tend to be the first players brought off if things aren't going well at West Ham and Swansea. If that continues, is there anything you can do to help them convince you, or is it all up to them?
No, in that particular situation, it's not they have to convince me, because honestly, I think they are playing quite well. The problem is that Raheem and Bernardo, they are outstanding. So sometimes we don't see that. So they compete each other, and that situation is difficult for me to put it out in the important games. Bernardo and Raheem, what they are doing, and they know it. And to take the chance, they have to fight more. Not talking, not it's there on the grass and doing better when they have the minutes and do it as much. But I can count on them because I had the feeling they play good. But the other ones, they are incredible in this, not only the last period, in all season.
Hi, Pep. James from the Standard. I know you say it's not going to be won or lost this weekend, but surely you look at this weekend as one of the occasions if Liverpool are going to drop points. This is one of the weekends that they might do it.
When James asked me about your experience, about what I learned in the experience is better. Don't look too much to the neighbor. It's a huge mistake. So I don't know what's going to happen in Anfield. Of course, Liverpool play for like us and Tottenham as well to qualify for the Champions League. But normally when that's happened, you distract what you have to do. And you're thinking, maybe I'm going to drop points. And normally when that's happened, you are the first one you drop points. What you have to do tomorrow, 12:30, just wake up, going to play in a narrow stadium, British stadium, with a team, they have arguments. If not, Liverpool could be easy to win, or Chelsea as well. And I know when you play against Chelsea and Liverpool, how tough it is. We saw in Swansea, the people asked, Swansea is already in semi-finals. It was 2-0 down in the half-time. So focus what you have to do, and once we have your job, okay, wait. So still is in our hands right now, that before, when the people say, we prefer to be in that position chasing, Liverpool. No, I prefer to position Liverpool. Now I prefer to be in the position that we have because it depends in our performance. Thinking in winning 8 games in a row, wow, will be tough, really tough, because we have more competitions. We have away games really, really incredible, difficult, like tomorrow, Selhurst Park and Old Trafford and in Barley, for example. It's always difficult there when they are playing to stay in the Premier League. So every game will be so tough. I expect to the players. So the game we'll live against Swansea will be quite similar until the season. If we are able to suffer and fight each other, okay, always we can do it.
For a long time this season, it felt like Liverpool had the advantage of just really being able to concentrate on the Premier League while you've had this quadruple thing going on. Given the fact that they're into the quarterfinals, have got a draw that they would probably quite fancy, do you welcome that they now have got to think about working on 2 fronts?
Don't think it. Believe me, I don't think it. It's the same what happened when they were out the Cup or League One. Believe me, it doesn't matter from my side. Of course, you're going to, but sometimes when you play quite regular, you are in the rhythm. You have to have pace, you have competition every 3 days. If you are injured, it's good. And after, when you have 10 days and go to, Abu Dhabi or go away, you lose the rhythm. In that moment one of the success that we have is all the time, tired mentally, physicality, but we go. We have time to think, one game, another one. And that's good, sometimes it's good. So that is what it is. So we have the situation, Liverpool has his own situations. At the end, right now, we have maybe 1 more game or 2 more games for the semi-final, hypothetical final for the FA Cup, but the rest we have the same games.
And if you won the quadruple, would you be the greatest team we've ever seen in this country?
End of April, ask me this question.
Last 2, please, guys. And we do 1 each just to fit you both in, please.
Hi, Pep. It's been 2 months since the defeat at Newcastle. And in that time, the team's won basically every single game. Do you think you can keep the same pace up over the next 2 months?
We have to. If you want to lift some title, we have to. So sometimes Newcastle help us to realize what we are, what we have to do. But that's true. So we have to make these incredible amounts, I think 18 or 19 games winning. If you want to win titles, you have to make incredible row of winning games.
Hi, Pep. Just in terms of Raheem, have you ever spoken to him about the abuse he's received? Because it can't be...
About, sorry?
About the abuse that he receives from it.
No.
Have you seen a kind of a mature response from him, do you think, from...
I see him quite well, but I think he's a important person in this country in football, and I think makes this kind of statements help us to do better society. So when the situation happen, it's not first, especially in the human rights, and the people don't say anything. The situation is going to repeat and repeat and repeat again. So, and when that's happened, I did it twice. It happened again. You have to make another one, and everybody, because the people confused when say that that's a football problem. No, it's not a football problem. It's a problem for everybody, for everyone in the society, and he has a little bit the power, no, to do it. And welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.